Om. गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः ॐ योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधर स्वधाम्नाम् अन्याश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् We are in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 12, Chapter 6, and towards the end of chapter 5, the Shukdevji Maharaj gave the final instructions concerning the reality, concerning the Brahmatmaikya Bodha to Parikshitji Maharaj. And therein he said, एवं आत्मानमात्मास्तः आत्मस्थं आत्मनैवामृषः प्रभो बुद्ध्यानुमानगर्भिण्या वासुदेवानुचिन्तया. Very simple. Vasudevanuchintaya. Forget everything else. Who is, last week I told you, Devaki is the mind, Vasudev is the intellect. Who is Vasudev? Who is the Lord of the intellect? He is the one who is without whom the intellect and the mind cannot function. And who is he? Who is this Vasudev? This Vasudev is one who is Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karan. He is transcendental to mind and intellect, yet immanent in and through the mind and intellect. And he says here, Shukdevji Maharaj, that investigate thus the truth of the self encased in your psychophysical organism by your own effort with the help of reasoning. See? Think of it, contemplate on it. How? Because this Lord alone is expressing as the self within. You have never seen the Lord. You have never seen what is the extent of the space. But you can get all the properties of the space right here and now. You don't have to travel to the ends of the universe to find out what are the properties of the space. That way. You don't have to know the total fire in order to know what fire is. You don't have to taste the total waters in order to taste the water. You don't have to wear the total gold on this planet. You have to just wear one ornament and you will come to know. Exactly the same way. When we investigate into the truth, and what is that truth? It's not other than the self. And what is the self? Is none other than the Vasudeva Bhagavan. So, and that is possible only with the human body, not otherwise. And Parikshit Maharaj is there with his in his last moments, and thus chodito vipravakyena na tvam dhakshyati dakshakaha mrityavo nopadhaksyanti mrityunam mrityumishwaram. Urged by the curse of a Brahmana, the serpent Takshaka will not be able to burn you, the soul within your body, even though it may burn the body. All the agents of death combined cannot burn you, because you are, who are you? You are the death of all the deaths combined. See, who are you? You are the self. For the self there is no death, for the Ishvara there is no death. There is possibility of destruction of a house, but there is no destruction of space. There is a destruction of ornament, but there is no destruction of gold possible. Exactly the same way. Destruction of the body. What is body? Relative phenomena. Are you the phenomena? Considering yourself to be the phenomena is the mistake that every human being or every seeker is making. That I am a waker now, that I will be dreaming, then I will be going to sleep, then by listening to the satsangs and practicing meditation, I will be a meditator. But still, I am rotating around in the phenomena only. I have not gone beyond the phenomena. And this phenomena, how does it expresses? It expresses as body, breath, mind, intellect. All changes, waking, dream, deep sleep, samadhi is at the body level only, mind level only. So here he says that let all the poisons, all the agents of death. What could it be? It could be a mosquito, it could be a scorpion, it could be the snakes, cobra, or it can be the time, or it can be the Kal himself. Or here Takshak. But he says, having come to be the self, as the self, then you are the death of all deaths. Death can also not touch you, because you have become, by coming to your original nature, by coming to your being the essential nature, you have transcended birth and death, life and death. And therefore, therefore you are one with the infinite Lord himself. You are not other than him. And in this way, recognize yourself, O Parikshit. And then he says, Aham Brahma Param Dhama Brahmaham Paramam Padam Evam Samikshannatmanam Atmanyadhaya Nishkale. In the 11th verse he says, and the 12th verse it says, Dashantam Takshakam Pade Lelihanam Vishananaihi Na Drakshyasi Shariram Cha Vishwam Cha Pruthagatmanaha. He says, now he is telling him what he should practice. First, it was the vision that was being presented, and a state of fearlessness was being invoked into Parikshit, that you are the death of all deaths by coming to know the self. And now I am Brahma. You have to come to this realization. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahma, the supreme support. The highest goal am I. Aham Brahma, Paramam Brahma, Param Dhama. Brahmaham, Paramam Padam. Brahmaham, Paramam Padam. So, I am Brahma, and this Aham is at the individual level. Brahma is at the infinite level. To come to this, when the seeker comes to realize this I that I am is none other than the infinite reality, when the space in the house comes to realize I am none other than the infinite space. It is always the infinite space. Unnecessarily, it was identifying with the house and saying I am a house space. Unnecessarily, out of ignorance, that teeny meeny water in the wave was identifying with the form of the wave and saying, I am a wave. And now, with all the trials and tribulations of life, of a wave, it becomes a seeker. And as a seeker, now it seeks what? It seeks to be the infinite waters. But here, when we are talking to each other like this, it is so self-evident. It is self-evident that the water in the waves is nothing but the infinite waters. The gold in the ornament is nothing but the infinite gold. The space in the house is nothing but the infinite space. Similarly, this individual consciousness is nothing but the infinite consciousness. It's just a question of accepting it. Nothing. Here, Parikshit Maharaj, if you have been alert, he has not done any sadhana throughout the 7 days of discourse by Shukdevji Maharaj. All he has done is been 110% available to every word of Shukdevji Maharaj. And not just been available with awareness. Not just ears are listening but the mind is running away somewhere. No, his mind completely integrated, is focused on the words with understanding, with reverence. Mahapurusha Sancharaya, that Shukdevji Maharaj, even though he is hardly any age compared to Parikshit Maharaj, he is only 16 years old. Parikshit Maharaj has ruled for so many hundreds of years now. But his respect, reverence, surrender at the feet of Shukdevji Maharaj is unparalleled. And it is this attitude of respect, reverence towards everything from where learning is coming makes us a uttam adhikari, makes us qualified. Knowledge in the books is not important. Knowledge of the words spoken by the teacher is not important. But what they are indicating, what is their purport, what are they indicating, that is more important. And that is what every teacher, Vedantic teacher, spiritual teacher, every teacher is trying. He can only try to communicate because he is talking about that which cannot be talked about. See, he is talking about that which cannot be talked about. Truth cannot be talked about, yet we are talking about. So this is the conundrum that the teacher has, that he has to communicate something, and it can only be in this type of language, that you are the death of death. If you contemplate on the Lord Vasudeva. Neither he has come across death, neither he has come across Lord Vasudeva, and yet that type of instruction is given. And that is where the faith comes in. Acceptance that the words of what the Guru Maharaj is saying, they are pertinent. I have no doubt if the Guru Maharaj has said that, then it must be true, it has to be true. Then why it is not happening? It is only happening because I am not ready. My surrender is not complete. I am somewhere qualification is lacking within me. Not blame the Guru Maharaj, don't blame the scriptures, don't blame the God. The blame is squarely upon our shoulders, because the doubt is in us. There is no doubt in the teacher. Teacher knows Aham Brahmasmi. He knows he is the infinite. He is trying to communicate to the student who is full of doubts. As long as you feel you have enough time to live and you will start spiritual journey after you build the house, after you have had kids, after you get married, after you will retire, after you have tasted the world. These are different options that people think about, isn't it? It's good. I will keep in touch with the satsang on a daily basis. बट अभी तो मैं तो जवान हूँ, अभी तो बहुत कुछ करना है मेरे को जीवन में. आई गॉट सच अ बिग बकेट लिस्ट. I am only in year 12 right now. I have to study, I have to get a job, I have to do uni, I have to explore the world, I have to. Then we will think about spirituality. This is wrong conclusion. Never know. Tonight may be the last night. Never know. Tomorrow we don't wake up. And we have gone to sleep thinking, oh, tomorrow I'm going to have an ice cream cake. With that thought you went. You didn't go to bed with thinking of the divine. Ice cream cake ban ke आओगे अगली बार. Other people will eat you. Devour you. So we feel that we have enough time to process all this information, to process all this knowledge, and therefore there is lack of commitment. Therefore there is no urgency in our life to know this truth. If you want to be like Ramchandra ji and Sita ji. At age of 17 or 18, Ramchandra ji 16, he was already abiding in the truth. Sita ji the same thing. Both two realized masters came together, got married and did the Leela. But we want to come to know the Spirit, want to surrender to God after we have lived life. Hey Baba, before you live life, you come to know God. Then you will recognize that you are moving in God as God. Then the life will be fulfilling. But instead, there is only craving, there is only a desire for the world, desire for the other, desire for experiences. And this all comes because of the lack of urgency in our life. And that lack of urgency is the product of this premise that we have enough time in our life to pursue spirituality. Urgency means like the fish out of water, she wants to go back to water. Are you like fish out of water? That again another day has passed and still I am I haven't known the merged into the truth. I haven't come to know the truth as the truth I am. It must disturb us. Where am I lacking? What more I need to do or not do? Where is the shortfall in my understanding? Am I not focused enough? What am I missing? Teachers are telling us again and again and again and again, and yet I am missing the target every day after even after listening to so many satsangs. As I said, the fault is not with the scriptures and the teachers and the Guru Maharaj or the God. वी अपने आप को टटोलो कि कहाँ पे कमी है. And with this regards, this example that is there in front of us in Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam of Parikshit Ji Maharaj, he has utter urgency. He has got only 7 days left. You meet someone who has been everything is going fine, and suddenly they get diagnosed with cancer or some such a disease which is going to take their life. It could be a heart attack, it could be cancer, whatever. Their life changes after that for the better. One lady is there, I told you. She does yoga and everything. She takes yoga classes in Sydney. Now she stopped. But she was diagnosed with cancer. And then she called me. I said, yes. So what? So after talking, I asked her, how are you approaching this disease which can take your life? We don't know. Doctors had given her 6 months. She is still alive. Only 6 months. And her answer was, Swamiji, I am relieved. Now I don't have to pretend to be socially responsible. Large family, children, grandchildren, friends, colleagues of her husband, her friends, and everyone is bringing presents for every birthday, happy Dad's Day, happy Mother's Day, happy Valentine's Day, happy, I don't know, Women's Day, Men's Day, something or the other is always, or someone's birthday is there. And she felt that because they are doing so much, she felt obliged to reciprocate that towards them also. And therefore every day, one trip to the market to get presents for the upcoming event of someone. Facebook is telling you everything, who is birthday and this and that, and if you forget, then next time, you have to hear from them. She says, now I don't have to worry about anything or anyone. Anyone comes or anyone says anything, the condition that I am in. She doesn't go anywhere, doesn't have to do anything. She is totally absorbed in herself. See? Another person here from Geelong, some of you know her, our Wendy. She was diagnosed with stomach cancer. Went through the operation, it's into remission, everything fine. Then they found some lumps under her armpit. Now there is radiation in next 2 3 weeks. But her attitude has changed. Before, my son doesn't do this, my daughter-in-law is like this, my grandchildren are like this. And now, let everyone do what they want. Because now she knows that as well as she may want to live, whatever has to happen has to happen. And now she's living like that. That I just live on a daily basis. Why not? Why disease has to come like this in order to wake us up? Aren't we intelligent enough to assess when scriptures are saying, teachers are saying, why can't we work it out? That hey, accept the world as it is. When you accept the world as it is, then you will not complain anything about the world. Then you will not try to own the world. You accept the sunrise and sunset as it is. You know it happens for a few seconds, then goes away. You don't try to own it. You don't try to own the rainbow. But we want to own our children. We want to, the child has become a youth and still you are calling him putta, putti, and he's cringing in his shoes. Grow up, wake up, leave everyone to their own. Take care of the best way you can, but never forget that you have taken birth as a human being, not for all this rigmarole of life, not to check the bucket list, not to see the world, not to travel the universe, not to produce kids and live like a donkey for next 20-30 years. You have taken birth as a human only for one purpose. And that is, only through human body we can come to recognize that we are the infinite one, the indestructible one. If not in this life, then he will correct his mistake. Lost opportunity. So wake up. Let today be the waking call. Do we have the qualities that Parikshit has? That after 7 days he got realized? Do we have those qualities? 13 years we have been listening. 13 years we have been talking. Huh? Socho. Then try to synchronize yourself with Parikshit. What must have been his attitude, what must have been his disposition, what type, in what manner, in what way he must have been surrendered, what would be his attitude towards this young boy who is giving him a discourse. So many 10,000 saints and sages are sitting around him. They are also listening to Shukdev Ji Maharaj. So try to be in tune with Parikshit Ji. He says, I am Brahma. Aham Brahma Param Dhama. Brahma Aham Paramam Padam. Evam Samikshan Atmanam Atmanyadhaya Nishkale. I am Brahma, the supreme support, Param Dhama. I am the substratum. And Brahma, the highest goal I am. In other words, there is no distinction between the individual consciousness and the infinite consciousness. Parikshit Maharaj, Shukdevji Maharaj is telling to Parikshit that the individual consciousness that you are is none other than the infinite consciousness. Think in this manner. Aham Brahma Param Dhama, Brahmaham Paramam Padam. thus identifying yourself with the absolute. Huh? If we have to identify, why we should identify with our wife, children, objects, body, breath, disease, our wealth, our shortcomings, our anger, our jealousies, our pride? Why should we get identified with that? If the mind is in the habit of identifying with something, let's give him a better direction. Let him think, let him get identified with the absolute. Because till today, by identifying with anger, nothing he has gained. By identifying with kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, nothing he has gained. By identifying with relations and possessions, nothing he has gained. By identifying with waking, dream, deep sleep, nothing lasting he has gained. He gains temporary, but then it goes away afterwards. But if he thinks in this manner and gets identified with the absolute reality, the infinite reality, there is just a possibility that he may experience the infinite fulfillment that he is seeking. Which even if he runs after this world for life after life after life, he can never gain that fulfillment. Anything, we eat food, we get fulfilled. Today Sangeeta made very nice food. Vada, dal, palya, sabji. But now, by the time lecture is over, again we'll be hungry. Then again tomorrow morning we'll be hungry. So it's temporary fulfillment. Catch this. And where do you feel more fulfilled? You feel fulfilled at peace when you are involved in the world, or when you are in sleep. And what do you learn from that sleep? That absence of the world gives you more solace, more tranquility, more anand. Yet, even with this data, we are continuing to get involved in the world. Who can help us? We have to help ourselves. Uddharet atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet. Raise yourself by yourself, in yourself, for yourself. Natmanam. Not by, don't raise yourself or seek fulfillment through not self. Not self means everything other than the consciousness. What is everything other than the consciousness? Body, breath, mind, intellect, the world. Or the entire objective world is an Atma. Atma is the self. And when we say Uddharet Atmana Atmanam, is raise yourself by yourself. Natmanam avasadayet. Not by not self. You cannot raise yourself by not self. So just a little bit pondering is required, just a little bit. Keep everything at its place and come and sit within yourself, with yourself, and think the way we are thinking right now, loudly. Think, contemplate that our continuous involvement in this life, in the outside world, has it brought any fulfillment till today? If not, then our angle of interaction has to change. Because if we keep continuing to do what we have been doing, we'll keep getting what we have got. What do you call this? You have to upgrade yourself. Holy word hai, upgrade. Like our Narayan Bhagavan, this Narayan Bhagavan, Daksha's father. He is in his job, every few months he has to pass one exam in order to be qualified to continue with the job. A continuous upgrading. Why do you think we are taking satsang every day? Is it to teach you? It's to upgrade. In every satsang, at least one click takes place for the mind. So, in this manner, he says, thus identifying yourself with the absolute self, your very self, and realizing your true nature, you will behold neither the serpent Taksha biting you at your feet with its poisonous fangs, nor your body, nor the universe as apart from you. This is the Sarvat Brahmatmaikya Bodh which has come about, which leads to, if Brahmatmaikya Bodh, if our union with the divine does not lead to Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, if it doesn't lead to this experience that everything is divine, then somewhere in our approach we have gone wrong. I am a great devotee, I have got siddhis, Bhagwan has given darshan to me, I had food with him, he fed me with his own hands. I was in the meditation, oh my God, and the tears are rolling, horripilation is coming, ecstasy is being felt. But when all that is over and the wife calls you, immediately the anger. Or come out of meditation, immediately, "Arey, man, I got late, I will miss my train." This is not Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. It was just a mystical experience on the seat of meditation. Because what Shukdevji Maharaj is saying, that when you, identify yourself with the absolute self, then when this Brahmatmaikya Bodh happens, when the individual self merges into the infinite self, is that merging possible? No. Because it's always one. Just like, can the space in the house merge in the total space? No, because it's always the space. But in our case, we have got identified with the form. When we disidentify with the form, then what will happen? Brahmatmaikya Bodh will happen. And what is the symptom of the Brahmatmaikya Bodh? Fearlessness. And what is that fearlessness? The Takshak who is going to come and sting the body of Parikshit is also the infinite reality. The body which is going to be stung by the poison of the Takshak, that body is also the infinite reality. In fact, wherever I see, there only I am. This experience is not through words. This experience is not through mind. It is a direct experience. Just like you are experiencing right now, that in every limb of the body you are, without a doubt. You may call right hand, you may call left hand, but when you say right hand, you know it is I. When you say left hand, you know it is I. When you say the disease, it is I. When you say health, it is still I. When I am looking at you through the glasses, it is I. If I look at you without the glasses, the non-availability of forms, it is also I. The lack of vision is also I. Everything is I. The childhood, the teenage, the youth, the old age, everything is I. This inert beard is also I. So many different parts in our body. But what is our experience? I am. Now imagine this experience to the which covers the entire cosmos. Entire cosmos. What will it be like? That is Brahmatmaikya Bodha, leading to Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Then will there be fear of death? Then will there be any effort to protect your body? Did Parikshit Maharaj come to Shukdevji Maharaj to protect his body? Please help me, I don't want to die, I have got still so much to do in life. My bucket list is not complete yet. I am only in my late youth. Nothing like that. He accepted that I got 7 days left. Now the next urgent thing that is to be done is, what needs to be done in the next 7 days in order to overcome this impending death? And the answer to that, Shukdevji Maharaj says, be the death of death. And to be the death of death, realize yourself that you are the infinite. And when you realize the infinite, you will know you are always the infinite. You are never fallen. You are never fallen. And in this manner, etatte kathitam tata yathatma prushtavan rupa harer vishvatmanascheshtam kim bhuya shrotumichhasi. All this has been narrated to you by me. Shukdevji Maharaj is telling Parikshit, oh dear Parikshit, in response to what you, my very self, inquired concerning the pastimes of Lord Sri Hari, the soul of the universe, O protector of men, what more do you desire to hear? So, one more thing here, important point to observe. Shukdevji Maharaj says, all this has been narrated to you by me. So, there is a recognition that there is a transfer of the pravachan is going on, the instructions are being given by the teacher to the student. But what is the recognition of Shukdevji Maharaj? Yes, at a relative level, this will be the understanding of everyone. At the relative parlance, I am giving you the instruction, but here he says, in response to what you, my very self, inquired concerning the pastimes. So, from Shukdevji Maharaj's point of view, Parikshit is not separate from the self that he is. From Shukdevji's point of view, the self alone is expressing as Shukdevji. Therefore, he says that in response to what you, my very self, asked. So, Shukdevji did not ask the question to himself. See, when we become alert, then we take full responsibility to everything in our life. Every contact, every experience, every event of our life, everything becomes a teacher. That Shukdevji Maharaj, who has not spoken one single word in his life, he was born at 12 years old and till 16 years old. He has not spoken one single word. Nobody knew where he was. And the first thing that he speaks is this Bhagavatam. Why did he come and sit there? Why did he, why is he not wearing clothes? Why other masters are not taking this Vyaspeeth? Don't get involved in all this. This organization, that organization, this Mahatma, that Mahatma, I think he is more realized, I think that is he is less realized. Get out of all that. That means your attention is outside. Your attention is not on your growth. Your attention is on the judgment. And you feel by your judgment and validation of other Mahatmas or teachers or scriptures makes you a wise one. Forget it. Nobody needs your validation. But this is what we feel. Listen to when you say, I think he is a great Mahatma. Does he need your validation that he is a great Mahatma? Oh, this is a wonderful Upanishad. Does the Upanishad need your validation that it is a wonderful Upanishad? Oh, what a divine Bhagavatam. Why, Bhagavatam doesn't need your validation. Whether you read or you don't read, Bhagavatam is still divine. It is divinity incarnate. That Mahatma is self-incarnate. By your saying that he is a great Mahatma, he is a or whatever adjectives you may add to him, it does not make a dent in him. It does not make a dent in him at all. All this happens, this error happens in us only because we are extroverted in our approach. Our attention is not on realizing the God in our heart. That's why we are talking about the other. When our attention is on the divine in our heart, nothing will distract us. Just as in the case of Parikshit. He did not say, there are so many great masters here, Vasishtha Maharaj is there, Bhardwaj Muni is there, so many. They got more white beard, and this young fellow, naked fellow, 16-year-old coming and sitting, doesn't even have hair on his head, doesn't have any shame. Is he a qualified teacher from whom I should learn? I think these people with white beard are more qualified. And show his back and look at all the... Did Parikshit Maharaj do anything like this? Except anyone who comes into your life at any moment of your existence at a relative level has come there to teach you a lesson. And that lesson will not be learned. What have you come to teach me? Ek thappad. You learn, you be the learner. Let life unfold by itself. You learn, you be available. You be available. But we are not. We go the other way. So, Shukdevji Maharaj says that I have given to this knowledge to myself itself, which is expressing as you, O Parikshit, and with respect to the Lord Sri Hari, Lord Krishna, who is the soul of the universe. What more do you desire to hear? Till here we did. I just covered this last part because it is so pertinent as a seeker. Now, Adha Shashtodhyayaha Parikshit attains the supreme goal and Janmejaya commences a snake sacrifice, classification of the Vedas into so many shakhas or schools. Who is Janmejaya? Janmejaya is the son of Parikshit. Suta uvacha etannishambya munina vihitam Parikshit व्यासात्मजेन निखिलात्मदृशा समेन तत्पादमूलमुपसृत्य न तेन मूर्ध्ना बद्धाञ्जलिस्तमिदमाह स विष्णुरातः. Sutji is, remember how Bhagavad began, the Sutji Maharaj, he is telling the Shaunaka Rishi and all, having heard this discourse of the sage Shukdevji Maharaj, the son of Vyasa, who beheld the universe within himself. And this is the truth. We feel we are in the universe. This is the vision that needs to be transformed. And that is why we expose ourselves to the satsang. That is why we expose ourselves to the scriptures. That is why we expose ourselves or come in the company of saints and sages. That this upside down world that we are experiencing, what is this upside down world? That I am in this world, that this world was before I was born, that this world will continue after I am dead. And the truth is, you are there before this world came into existence. You are there when the world is existing, and after the world becomes unmanifest, I will continue to exist. To this reality, for this to click, Mahatmas come into our life, scriptures come into life, the grace of God comes into our life. पर हम भी कुत्ते की पूंछ हैं, टेढ़ी की टेढ़ी रहेंगे, सिखा लो जितना सिखाना है. Who beheld the universe within himself. This is the Sarvam Khalvam Brahma, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma experience. And this experience cannot be through thoughts. Because you cannot think of infinite number of finite objects. You cannot. You cannot think of all the ornaments. You cannot think of all the mud pots. You cannot think of all the past, present, future waves on the ocean. Impossible. But if you know the water, then you know all the oceans and all the waves. That's Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. And you don't know the water as separate from you. No, as Atma Bhavena. Who beheld the universe within himself and looked upon all with an equal eye. The said Parikshit, who had been granted his life by the Lord, approached the soles of the sage's feet and with bent head and joined palms spoke thus. See, this is also an art. Now, from the words of Parikshit, we will understand what he understood after 7 days of discourse. It's concluding here. Discourse is concluded. Shukdevji is going to go away in few minutes. After that, he can't ask any questions. So he said, what more do you desire to hear? What is our situation, you, me and everyone? If someone says, what more do you want? Do you have any more questions? We have a long list of questions which never ends. Isn't it? Our questions never end. And they don't end because we did not listen to the teachers. Atma Bhavena. We are collecting information. Parikshit Maharaj, he was listening to Shukdevji Maharaj, and see what he answers now. He doesn't say, I have any more questions. In fact, when the teacher says, what more do you desire to hear? He says, Rajovacha. So, first, in the previous verse, he said, he approached the soles of the sage's feet with a bent head and joined palms. So, in a manner of surrender, reverence, respect, that sage is 16-year-old. That Parikshit is in his latter age of his life. He is falling at the feet of this 16-year-old boy. And he's not, what he's going to say, he is not saying it with arrogance and pride. This is also very important. Then what does he say? सिद्धोस्म्य अनुगृहीतोस्मि भवता करुणात्मना श्रावितो यच्च मे साक्षात् नादिनिधनो हरिः. The King Parikshit says, in that bhav of samarpan, in that bhav of sharanagati, I stand accomplished of purpose and have been favored by your gracious self, in that I have been directly told of Sri Hari, who has no beginning or end, as well as of the means of attaining him. There is no end to knowledge. I told you this story. Narad Muni, he was the master of 64 knowledges, but still unfulfilled. Till his elder brothers, Sanat Kumaras, till they instructed him into Chatushloki Bhagavad and told him, have you learned to love? Have you learned to love? Who? That Narayana. Who is this Narayana? He is none other than yourself. Then Naradji became. Otherwise, same thing with Maharishi Vedvyas also. I told you about this. Maharishi Vedvyas has written Mahabharata. He has written or compiled with the help of others the Vedas as we know it today. He has written the 18 Puranas, that time he had written 17 Puranas and the 18 Sub-Purana. But that great Maharishi Vedvyas, whose son is Shukdevji Maharaj, this Mahatma, this Maharishi Vedvyas, he still felt an emptiness in his heart. Still felt emptiness in his heart. Then again, Naradji comes and instructs him in the Chatushloki Bhagavad, because what Ved Vyasji is experiencing is what Naradji was experiencing once upon a time. This is called Parampara. The Brahmaji was instructed by Narayana. The Sanat Kumaras were instructed by Brahmaji. The Sanat Kumaras then instructed Naradji. Then Naradji instructed Maharishi Vedvyas. And through Maharishi Vedvyas, we are getting instructed. This is the parampara. This is the parampara. When is it come? Where is this parampara coming from? From Anadikal, beginningless time. It didn't start today. So instead of Parikshit Maharaj, as I said to you before, the point that I was making is collection of knowledge is not equal to realization, is not equal to fearlessness. So Parikshit Maharaj was not sitting there to collect knowledge. Acha, now you have finished the story of Sri Hari. Can we start with the Ramayana now? Can we start with Datta Puran? That I haven't heard till today. Can we start with Panchadashi now? Can we start with Amrit Anubhav now? Can we start with Upanishads now? He didn't say anything like that. If we get involved with one completely 100%, it should dissolve us. And that dissolution is possible only when we are available in the right manner with the qualification. What is the qualification? From Vedanta point of view, Vivek, Vairagya, Shatka Sampatti, Mumukshutva. From Bhakti point of view, Sharanagati. The questions after questions after no. If our attention is on the information, you can live lives after lives after lives after lives infinitely till the final pralaya comes. Still you will not be satiated with knowledge. Still you will not be satiated with knowledge. There is so much knowledge. But Parikshit is a unique seeker. He is very clear. He wants to transcend, or not transcend, he wants to complete these last 7 days of his life in such a manner that is most appropriate. Because he doesn't know what is right or what is wrong. Therefore, he came to ask, what should a person do in his last 7 days? If he knew, he would have practiced it. So he came raw, but he listened. And because he listened, Atma Bhavena, he kept applying on himself, kept assessing himself. And with every passing discourse, and whenever the teacher, the natural questions that arose with regards to the story of the Lord, and through those various stories, the purification was taking place within him. He came closer and closer to who he essentially is, and eventually, in the final instruction, the Bhagavan Shukdev Ji Maharaj has told him, now he has got no doubts left, no more pages to be turned over in his life or in his sadhana. If the teacher asks, you don't sit dumb there. You have to answer. So he says, I stand accomplished of purpose and have been favored by your gracious self in that I have been directly told of Sri Hari, who has no beginning or end, as well as of the means of attaining him. So he has come to recognize that the purpose of life is to know the divine. That divinity has got no beginning or no end. Has no beginning or no end. And how to get to that? how to get to that which has no beginning or no end, as I. That process also has been given to, he has, what does he say? That as well as the means of attaining him, you have told me, O teacher. Acknowledgement. And when he is saying that Sri Hari has no beginning or no end, he is not saying it out of arrogance. He is not saying it as a show off in front of the teacher who asked him, what more do you desire to hear? So he is not saying that I want to hear anything. Instead, he is showing a person may misunderstand that he is showing off what he has understood. But it is not so. Remember his gesture. He came to the feet of the teacher, surrendered at his feet, and then he is speaking that I stand accomplished of purpose. How I began 7 days ago, the fear of death. He is a Kshatriya. He is the emperor of the whole earth. But fear of death still lurks in everyone's heart. But Kshatriya, but Kshatriyas by nature they are courageous. They are fearless. But when it comes to here, not when there is a purpose, when you are fighting for the country, it's a different story. How much more courage is required to transcend the relative life? So, this proclamation by Parikshit Maharaj is not a speech of arrogance. It's not a show off in front of the teacher that I have come to know this, So, the one who says I have come to know this means he is more proud of his understanding than the greatness of the teacher who has been teaching. I stand accomplished of purpose and have been favored by your gracious self. That everything that I have come to know, everything that I have accomplished, the love for the Lord Krishna that is in my heart, this recognition that this Krishna is, Sri Hari is beginningless and endless, all this has happened by your gracious self, by your grace. This recognition is there. See? नात्यद्भुतमहं मन्ये महताम् अच्युतात्मनाम् अग्न्येषु तापतप्तेषु भूतेषु यदनुग्रहः. I do not consider it surprising that the grace of exalted souls who have given their mind to Sri Hari, the immortal Lord, descends on the ignorant creatures tormented by agonies. Look into your life. I can tell certain Mahatmas' lives, but you look at your own life. What was it that provoked you, made you interested in this spiritual journey? What was it? What was that moment where you fell in love with the Lord? Where you fell in love with perfecting yourself? And if not that, what was that moment? What was that grace because of which you got interested in taking the name of the Lord? You got interested in listening to satsangs? That you became disinterested to a large extent in the world like you were before? There is a semi-final going on or final going on tonight of tennis. And if you are a tennis addict, what is it that you have kept it aside and you are listening to this satsang? Isn't it? Amma, you send them to the last room because we can't stop them from not screaming. See? So when we are in our journey, so what is it? Do we deserve the grace and the company of great masters coming into our life? What did we do? They say every sinner has a future. We are all sinners if we say that way from relative point of view. But they also say every saint has a past. See? But every person who was a sinner has come to, every one of those has come to become a saint now today. And it is not because of, yes, it is because of his efforts, but also because of the divine grace. Tulsidas Ji Maharaj, his wife told, the amount of love you are showing towards my body, for which you crossed the Gangaji, which was in flood, you caught the carcass of an animal and crossed the river, you climbed over the wall, entered the house, climbed the tree, and then got onto the balcony, and only to embrace me. If this single pointedness of purpose you had showed towards Lord Ram would have, you would have become one with Lord Ram long time ago. It was his wife. That was the moment of grace for him. He thanked his wife for those wise words, and from a mere Gurukul teacher, he became Santa Tulsidas. See? Became Tulsidas, who wrote the Tulsi Ramayana, who composed Vinay Patrika, who composed Hanuman Chalisa. So many great works he did. All because of that one moment. Did he ask his wife to speak those words to him? Who prompted the wife to speak those words? Hello girls. Namaste. Sit down. You can sit on the sofa or on the floor, up to you.
Alert from no backups for 346 days.
No backups. You have to wait till 365, then delete everything. No backups required. Huh? So that common, ordinary Tulsidas became a Sant Tulsidas. Now find out what is it in your life where all in your life the grace of the divine has been flowing, because of which you are committed to dharma, you are committed to the truth, you are committed to righteous living, you are committed to the scriptures, you are committed to dharma, you are committed to taking the name of the Lord, you are committed to listening to satsangs. And as you go through this journey, that you become committed to know the self, know the divine, surrender to the divine. And as you begin on this journey by the grace alone, then Mahatmas come into our life, saints and sages come into our life, scriptures come into our life, the name of the Lord without our effort comes to our lips. See? And we start enjoying it. Just like we enjoy the chocolate, we start enjoying taking the name of the Lord. But before, if someone said, we used to run away. We used to go to temple for what? When we were kids. Why we used to go to temple? Not for Hanuman Chalisa. It used to take almost 7 minutes to chant the whole Hanuman Chalisa. And that 7 minutes used to be so long because I did not know Hanuman Chalisa. But at the end of Hanuman Chalisa, that prasad, the bundi ka prasad, for that I am ready to suffer the 7 minutes. I am ready to suffer the 7 minutes. But where did that? And today, Hanuman Chalisa is the second nature, it keeps going on inside. How he catches, watch, see his hand in programming your life to where you are today, rather than saying, I did it, I made my life, I am a self-made person. Parikshit Maharaj was this comes in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Imagine a man who is, and Parikshit is that man, who is the Lord of the whole earth. He is in his youth, full of vigor, no enemies. Everyone on the earth loves him. Everything is all his desires can be satisfied. No disease. What Anand he must be experiencing? What Anand he must be experiencing? But even then, that person, when he comes face to face with his destiny, then he starts seeing that everything that has happened in my life is for a purpose. It is the grace of the divine. That masters came, the scriptures came, the teachers came, the wife came. So Tulsidas ji's wife told, how many wives have told that to their husbands? Not every husband has become Tulsidas. It doesn't happen. But his wife said, he did not condemn her, he did not ear bash her. He thanked her that you have opened my eyes. How many of you have thanked your husbands or your wives? Because our attention is not on the divine. Our attention is not on perfection. Our attention is the same rut we are going in. सुबह उठेंगे, breakfast, upama, poha, lunch, idli, dosa, evening dinner, sambar, rice. What for tomorrow? Okay, what did you make yesterday? Poha. So today upma. Then what we'll make for lunch? What did we have yesterday? Dosa. Okay, then today idli. Keep mixing. Whole day goes into thinking only what is to be eaten. How much time do we spend thinking of the divine? This Parikshit Maharaj, and through the life of the Parikshit Maharaj, we are seeing that, as he says, I do not consider it surprising that the grace of exalted souls, all the great masters, realized masters, who have given their mind to Sri Hari. And who are these great masters? Not one like us who give lectures. Those whose heart and mind are completely at the feet of Sri Hari, merged. There's no demarcation line between that great saint and the Lord. There's no line. Is there a line between the ocean and the wave? Is there a demarcation line between ocean and the wave? Is there a demarcation line between gold and ornament? Then who is a saint? Where there is no demarcation line to separate him and the divinity. See, is there a demarcation line between the house space and the total space? No, no. There is no demarcation line. This is also space, that is also space. Quality is same. So those who have recognized this, realized this while living, are the saints and sages, Jivan Muktas. So he says, by their grace, who have given their minds to Sri Hari, the immortal Lord descends on the ignorant creatures tormented by agonies. What did Ratnakar, last week we talked about Ratnakar Daku, who became Valmiki Rishi. What did he do? Did he invite Narad Muni into his life? Did he ever think of the Lord in his life? Never. You have heard the story of Dhruva. When he left home, did he know who Narad Muni is? Did he know who Narayana is? But he begins on the journey. Automatically, you begin the journey, the teacher comes into your life. Narad Muni came into his life. But in Ratnakar Daku's, the Valmiki in his previous incarnation as the murderer, killer, looter, he did not even begin the journey. But he was doing what he was doing, killing, looting, as he for his family. He said, I am doing it because it is my dharma. I have to take care of my family. And this is what I know. He never thought of God, he never thought of saints and sages, but Narad Muni came into his life and he became Valmiki Rishi. That killer became Valmiki Rishi. Recognize this in our life, that everyone who is coming there to teach us a lesson. Then in the third verse, Purana Samhita Metam Ashraushma Bhavato Vayam Yasyam Khalu Tamashloko Bhagavan Anuvarnyate. We have heard from you the compilation in the form of this Purana, in which the most illustrious Lord has been described as a matter of fact. You want to go and play with the girls? Go at the back. They will sleep otherwise. And no screaming. So, we have heard from you this compilation in the form of this Puran. What is this Puran? Srimad Bhagwat Mahapuran. Another name of it is, whenever we finish the chapter, Paramhamsa Samhita. Spoken by whom? Sri Shukdev Ji Maharaj. So here Parikshit Maharaj is saying that we have heard it from your mouth, O teacher, O Shukdev Ji Maharaj, this grand Puran. And what is this all about? What is Srimad Bhagwat Mahapuran about? It is about the Lord himself. But how does Lord become famous? How does gold become famous? By beautiful ornaments, we start giving value to gold, isn't it? Similarly, how does Lord become famous? Only when his devotees become famous. So the entire Bhagavad Mahapuran which we have seen is only you come to know the God only through the devotees of the God. See? Why are we studying the scriptures? Because saints and sages, they have studied the scriptures, or they have experienced what the scriptures are saying. Therefore we listen to them. So same way here. And then in the fifth verse, Bhagavan stakshakadibhyo mrityubhyo na vibhemyaham pravishto brahma nirvanam abhayam darshitam tvaya. He says that Lord, he is calling Shukdev Ji Maharaj Lord, O Great One, O Lord, I am afraid neither of Takshaka nor of other agencies of death. This is the final culmination of knowledge. What is the culmination of knowledge? What is the culmination of surrender? Fearlessness. If there is fearlessness in our life, such is a saint, such is a realized master, such is a Jivan Mukta. But even an iota of fear is there in our heart and mind, then we have missed the target. So here, Arjuna, what did he say? Before he was afraid to fight his cousins, he was afraid to fight his teacher, he was having doubts to fight his grandfather, and all the possibilities of the war. And what happened after Bhagavad Gita? That all my doubts and delusions are removed. Now I am fearless. Now I will do what is required to be done. You command. I will do what is required to be done. All those cobwebs in my mind are cleared now. What are the cobwebs? Relations and possessions. We are lost in that only. Me, my wife, my husband, my children, my parents, and nobody is there for anyone. But we feel, oh my God, without them my life is nothing. Instead you think that without God my life is nothing. One day parents are going to die. One day you might die before the parents. Then what will you do? Anything is possible in this life. There is no guarantee. Someone who is friend today can become enemy tomorrow. Someone who was enemy yesterday can become friend today. And that is your observation of life. Befriend him who is all powerful, and that is Lord Narayana, Lord Krishna. Don't put your you don't put your eggs in the basket of relations and possessions. If you want fearlessness, if you want immortality, if you want fulfillment, if you want to be complete, otherwise why will these stories come of Dhruva? Why will the story of Nachiket come? That young boy, 6 years old, he tells the Lord of Death, he says, what do you want, my son? He says, I want to know that by knowing which nothing more remains to be known. The teacher says, the student has said that. The Lord Death, who is the teacher there, Yamraj, he says, I don't know that. He says, how can you know that? You are the death itself. You have to know. The young boy, he says, you have to know. Don't take me for a ride. You have to tell me, because I know you know. When the student is showing so much confidence in the teacher also comes out with the best test, isn't it? But then he tests this young boy. But he doesn't get distracted. He gives it, eventually he gives him the knowledge in Kathopanishad. See? So, here he says, I am afraid neither of Takshaka, the impending, because here he has not been bitten yet. The Takshaka at the end of 7 days is going to come and bite the body, because the Rishi Shringi's son, he has made that proclamation that in 7 days time Takshaka will go and bite, because Parikshit Maharaj put the dead snake around his father's neck in that spate of hunger and thirst. And why did he do that? That dharmic, righteous Parikshit Maharaj, why did he do such an act? Because Kaliyug came and sat in his crown, in the gold. Parikshit was not allowing Kaliyuga to come on the earth. And after 17 wars or times being defeated, one day when he was going the Kali came in person and put Sashtang Namaskar to Parikshit. He says, get up. What do you want? He says, I am a Sharnagati. I want Sharnagati. I have not come to fight with you anymore. You have defeated me 17, 18 times. I don't want to fight you anymore. Because I know I will never I can not win over you. So I come for Sharnagati because I have heard that anyone who is in need, anyone who is destitute, you always take care of him. Parikshit Maharaj is telling. And I am destitute by the force of time. It is my time. Kali Yuga has to come. But you are not allowing to come. Now only option I have is I surrender to you. Now please give me some place to stay. So he gives him the what do you call, the bars, the brothels, and the gold. So immediately he jumps in and sits in the gold crown of the Parikshit, and Parikshit commits this mistake of in that when you are hungry and thirsty, and if you don't get it, you get angry. And Parikshit had such self-control, yet because Kali Yuga is sitting on his head, he makes that mistake, and the young son of his, he proclaims that in 7 days you are going to die, and therefore the Bhagavad began. See? Could this be avoided? Time has can you avoid Kali Yuga from coming? No. Can you avoid the next Yuga, which is Sat Yuga, from coming? No. Then whatever has to take place has to take place. So with regards to the world, you have to accept that the world is like this. Krishna also came, but he accepted he has to go. As a body, he cannot remain immortal, even though he is God, but in an incarnation. So he created his own, the nature created an opportunity for him to leave the body by creating a son called Samba. See? Son of Jambavati. So here he says that I am afraid neither of Takshaka nor of the agencies of death, since I have now entered the fearless and all blissful state of oneness with Brahma, the Absolute, as shown by you. So he is telling his teacher that I feel at myself to be at one ment with the divine. Now when Ramana Maharishi is speaking, when Nisargadatta Maharaj is speaking, when Anand Mahima, great saint of India, is speaking, Neem Karoli Baba is speaking, Adi Shankaracharya is speaking, all these are great saints of India. Swami Vivekananda is speaking, Swami Bhagwan Ramakrishna Paramahamsa is speaking, Bhagwan Satya Sai Baba is speaking, Shirdi Sai Baba is speaking. When they say, me and the God are one, it's not an statement of arrogance. It is a statement of fact, their own direct experience. So here Parikshit Maharaj is making this statement from his direct experience, and it is not an arrogant proclamation that I am one with Brahman, therefore free of all fear. Being one with Brahman doesn't mean that you stop speaking in life. Being one with Brahman doesn't mean that this body will not experience hunger. This body will experience hunger, but there is no hungry person born. Because this is phenomena. And everything that is happening at the phenomenal level is happening. To recognize that whatever is happening is not your doing, it is the divine will. The story over. Then breath is coming by divine will, heart is beating by divine will, eyes are blinking by divine will, sleep is coming by divine will, waking is happening by divine will. And somewhere, how come when everything is happening by divine will, suddenly you as an individual has come up? I am going to make my life, I am going to become an engineer, I am going to do this and I am going to do that. Continue in that direction because it is his will, not because it is yours. This recognition makes a common person into a saint while living. You don't have to leave family for that. You can be in the, you are in the society, you are in the society, you are in the family, but you are at one ment with the truth, because you don't see the family as an impediment, a problem. You see it as an expression of the divine. They might not understand you, the family may not understand you because their vision is limited. And you understand that they cannot understand, it's okay. If they understand, good. Ramchandraji and Sita ji never misunderstood each other. But this so-called philosophers and thinkers, they say, oh, he should not have done to the woman, the Sita. Why? This is chauvinistic attitude that he made her walk over the fire and this and that, and he should not have sent her to the forest when she was pregnant. Who are you to comment on all these things with regards to Ram and Sita, when they are absolutely in synchronization with each other? Both are realized masters, remember. So also in our in families, in marriages, this point came in the retreat. If two people are coming together as husband and wife, it is only to invoke the divinity in the other, not to invoke kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya in the other. Bring out the best. That is partnership. Nobody can be anyone's for all life. सात जन्म ये सब ड्रामा है, ये सब primary school education. But you come into partnership with your spouse, so that, because nobody wants to live alone, it's easier to live together. Then come to live together to bring out the best in the other. That they recognize the divine while living. For that you have to accept first that this person who is with me is expression or divine. For both, husband also should accept, like someone here, he calls his wife Devi or something he says, and she calls her, the husband, Deva. So automatically have that attitude. Blissful state of oneness with Brahma, the absolute as shown by you. It has not happened by my own. It has happened because you have shown it to me. It has happened because you, O Shukdevji Maharaj, has guided me. You have shown me the way. With so much patience, over 7 days, you have slowly unfolded, opened the envelope of self-realization in front of me. See? Continuing in the 6th verse, Anujani himam brahman vacham yachamyash dhokshaje mukta kamashayam chetaha pravesha visrujamya soon. He says, now give me permission, O Brahmana sage, I shall control all my senses, including speech, and having established my mind, which is free from all cravings, in the thought of Lord Vishnu, who is above sense perception, give up the ghost. Who is the ghost? That is to be given up. Jivatma is the ghost. This ego is the ghost. Ego doesn't exist. Who is ghost? This light is ghost. Light doesn't exist, but you are seeing it. Then what is existing here? Bulb is existing. What is existing? Electricity is there. You touch, you will have the shock. But light is a phenomena. When electricity and bulb come together, a third thing is created called light. Just like that. When consciousness and matter come together, a third thing is called as life. This is the phenomena. Life is, there is nothing wrong with life. But when this Chaitanya Purush, the conscious principle, starts thinking that I am only this body, then the ego starts sprouting up. When it starts saying, this body I am, these memories I am, these are my memories, this is my wife, this is my body, this is my husband, these are my children, this is my house. And he starts collecting data to pop himself up. That is the ego. That is the ghost. Jesus also said, no? The Father, Son and the Holy Ghost are one. Similarly, this ghost, the ego, this needs to be dissolved. And this, we cannot dissolve our, because you are someone, you have your identity because of your parents, because of your husband, because of your children, because of this body. This personality will not like to dissolve this personality, this everything that it is owning. But fulfillment, if you are seeking, it is only possible when this dissolution happens. Then what do? We fall in love with the Lord. And He makes sure that we dissolve. The ego dissolves. Our fear is, if ego dissolves, then what will happen to everything? But when Lord dissolves the ego, after that ego dissolves, it is a more richer life after that. Because everything is self, and whatever is self, you love the most. Whatever comes in the definition of self, you love the most. Right now, in the self has come what? I am body. So, body has come in the definition of self. Husband is mine. Husband has come in the definition of self. Children are mine. Children have come into the definition of self. Parents are mine. Parents have come into definition of self. And we stop there. Maybe some friends. Or memories, or experiences, or fears. Imagine this feeling that not only this husband, this child, the whole universe is mine. What would be the experience? You will be in love with the entire universe all the time. No place for you. Ego creates crystallization of personality. Divinity dissolves. Be the water, don't become an ice cube. Ice cube is uncomfortable in any container. Water is comfortable in any container. Understand? So don't be an uncomfortable person. For that, dissolve the ego. How do you dissolve the ego? How does the ice dissolve itself? By thinking about water, if it could think. So how do we dissolve? We think of the divine. कितना टाइम हो गया भाई? ज़्यादा हो गया. हाँ है? Quarter past 8. Just last line and last verse and then we conclude. So in this way, I shall control. So now what he is saying to Shukdev Ji Maharaj, while in his presence, he is saying, oh great sage, give me the permission to control my senses. Because senses were required to take in the information that the teacher was giving. The mind was required. But all that listening and the knowledge that was imbibed by Parikshit Maharaj has brought him to the clarity as to what his destiny is, as to what his goal of the life is, which is Atma Sakshatkar. So therefore he says that, please, I shall now control all my senses and speech. That means I am not going to say any more. So no more questions. And having established my mind, which is free from all cravings, meaning my mind has become free of all desires. Why did it become free of all desires? Because it is in love with the Lord. It is in love with the absolute reality. If the mind thinks of the world, book is not the computer, is not the lamp, is not the camera, is not the stand, is not this person, is not that person. There is differences. But in the absolute, everything is one. When the wave looks at all the other waves, oh, so many waves, I think they are all in competition with me. I think they are coming to fight with me. What will be Ishvara's view? Ishvara's view is like the ocean. All the waves are in me, I am in all the waves. This is Ishvara's view. What will be the Brahman, which is the infinite reality, the absolute reality, equal to water? From water's point of view, what is the disposition? I alone am. And who am I? The self or the Brahman? Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Then from water's point of view, there is no ocean. And from water's point of view, there is no wave also. Because everywhere I am only. Water everywhere. And this is where our Parikshit Maharaj is going to abide now. And therefore he says, which is free from all cravings. Desires can only be for the not self. Desires can only be for the undivine. Desires can only be for the world, for the samsara. When you put that desire towards the Lord, the desire also dissolves away permanently, once and for all. You desire food, now we are going to eat food. Tomorrow again we will desire food. Again in the afternoon we will desire food. But when we desire God, the desire will be finished once and for all. So therefore he says, this mind which is free of all cravings, it has got no itch, koi khujli nahi hai. There is no urge in the mind to know anything more, because he asked, do you want to hear anything more? No desire to hear anything more. I am fulfilled. I have become very clear. And therefore, please allow me to merge my mind in the thought of Lord Vishnu, who is beyond the senses. So what are you doing when you look at Vishnu? You look at Vishnu, he has a form, Pitambar, blue body, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. But what is he saying here? He is saying that Vishnu which is beyond the sense perception. So he cannot be seen, he cannot be heard, he cannot be touched, he cannot be smelt, he cannot be tasted. So these are the five senses. Vishnu Bhagwan is beyond. Then why do we pray to the Lord with the Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, all this? To focus our mind. Initially it is required if you are that type of a person. But then go beyond, don't stop. Who is above such person, give up the ghost, and by thinking about by placing my mind at the feet of Lord Vishnu, who is beyond the sense perceptions. So that means he cannot think of a form, which means Parikshit Maharaj cannot think of a sound. He is sitting in silence. And he has already told before that Lord Vishnu, that Narayana, that Krishna, that Sri Hari is none other than the self within my heart. So he is contemplating on the heart in silence without any desire. Not even having a desire for the self. Because it is self-evident to him now that everything is self. This is what our Jnaneshwar Maharaj did. At age of 21, he took Sanjeevani Samadhi. He must have thought this way only. Everything is done, everything is fulfilled, I got Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Everything I am, then I can't give any more lectures. I don't want to improve the world because world is perfect as it is. So what to do then? Take Sanjeevani Samadhi. You and me can't even think of. It is not suicide. But our Jnaneshwar Maharaj did it. Same thing Parikshit Maharaj is doing. While living, he is going beyond the body. Because he is fulfilled. Because he is Jivan Mukta. If any one doubt is left, you cannot be there. And therefore, the last verse, Ajnanam cha nirastam me jnana vijnana nishtaya bhavata darshitam kshemam param bhagavatah padam. My ignorance, and now this is his conclusion. What is that? My ignorance, including its seed, has been eradicated by firmness in jnana, the knowledge of truth, and vijnana, the realization, since the supreme state of the Lord, which rids one of all fear, has been revealed to me by you. So what is the two things? One is jnana, jnana and vijnana. What is jnana? Knowledge of the truth. How has he come to know the knowledge of the truth? By listening to his teacher. But the word truth is equal to truth. No. Because the word truth, satyam. Then I may say jnanam. So satyam died. The word went away. So is the word satyam the truth? Is the word jnanam the truth? Or what that word is indicating is the truth. So when he says that my ignorance, including its seed, jnana and vijnana, so jnana is the self. And vijnana is the methodology by which to come to establish in the self. Which he is saying to him that please, by your permission, I want to withdraw my senses and my mind, which has got no desire, to be established at the feet of Lord Vishnu and be free of everything and dissolve the ego. Because fear is in the ego. The ego is born out of fear or is fearful. So he has already taken the permission. And he knows the technique, how to get there, because he has listened to the 7 days of discourse. So there is no doubt as to, नहीं अब क्या करें स्वामी जी, पापड़ बेलो. अपने नॉर्थ इंडिया में बोलते हैं, पूरी रामायण के बाद बोलते हैं कि राम कौन था. This is the sign of ignorance. So here he has been alert. He knows that all the words, the knowledge that was being given is pertaining to the self. It is not a story that is which he has to remember. Self is nothing that you need to remember. Self is your nature. And all the words that Shukdev Ji Maharaj uttered for 7 days were to remind him that he is the reality. And how to come to the reality, he gave so many stories of so many sadhakas, so many students or devotees of the Lord. Somewhere he gave the Ajamil story, somewhere he gave the story of Rishabhadev, story of our Dhruv. So many stories he is given. And each one is bringing you to the next stage, to the next stage, to the next stage. And as a result of that, by having come to know the knowledge, the truth as the self, all my ignorance has gone away. Once light lights up, there no darkness can be possible. Similarly, when the light of the self becomes is invoked, becomes revealed, then the ignorance of the mind goes away. Just like when there are waves on the ocean, you cannot see the reflection of the moon. When the waves become subsided, the moon becomes available. You did not create it. It was there already. All that needed to happen was the waves have to subside. Same thing. So now he is so focused on the self, so clear about it, that he does not want any more information, he doesn't want any more knowledge, because he has come to know that he is all that there is. And in this manner, since the supreme state of the Lord which rids one of all fear, we cannot get rid of the fear by ourselves, because we are the ego, we are the individual. This individuality, when it focuses on the divine, it is by the grace of the divine that the fear of the individual with regards to time, space, objectivity, relations, possession, past, future, everything. We are very creative in finding ways to become afraid. Phobias, thought fixations, everything gets dissolved. Just like when the light comes up, all darkness. Darkness, you feel fear. But when light comes, all fear of darkness goes away. Same way, when this light of lights, the infinite light, the self, which you are, it reveals all the cobwebs, all the fears of the mind, they dissolve once and for all, and they cannot entangle you anymore after that. And this is the realization of our Parikshit Maharaj. Now, we will see in our next class. Today we will conclude here. But that Takshak still has to come. What will he do? That we will see in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.